All right, a lot has gone down right now in 45 days where the farmers' agitation is concerned. Whether, viewers, you agree with the agitation, you disagree with the agitation, whether you support the farm laws, you don't support the farm laws. But most of India, most of you out there would be standing in solidarity in terms of empathy for our farmers who've been knocking at Delhi's doorstep for 45 days, irrespective of what your stand on the farm laws is. But with what we've seen lots of visuals of solidarity. We've seen communities coming together. But there's also been an ugly side to all of this, that certain elements in the garb of the farmer protest, hiding behind like cowards with the huge numbers that this agitation has brought together, indulging in abject depravity, turning on the media. We've suffered at the hands of it as well, and it is our duty to put it out there.
It's an agitation that has already etched itself in history. Whatever their stand on farm laws, but most of India's heart has bled in empathy for our farmers in protest for over 45 days. An indefinite protest by lakhs and lakhs, squatting at the capital's borders, knocking repeatedly on Delhi's door, demanding complete rollback of farm laws. These protests saw our Annadatas' altruism at supreme levels, the sense of community, of solidarity. Many from all walks of life joined in to express brotherhood with our farmers who brave intense cold with minimal gear. But like in every large crowd, there is a risk of mob mentality. What's disheartening is that few under the garb of protest hidden behind large crowds have turned on the media to harass journalists, sometimes even sexually. India Today reporters have been covering the farmer protests since day one and have had enough instances to record this depravity. In this instance, our reporter was surrounded by this mob, intimidated just for doing her job.
एक जिम्मेदार ने अग लाई असी लवाई आ असी अपने लोग लवाई करने आ असी उगराहां जथेबंदी वालों अपनी जिम्मेवारी असी लवाई है अग जो पर्चा करना साडे ते होवे जिन्ना चिर इथों माफी नहीं मंगदे सातों असी इन्हां नूं जाण नहीं दिंदे असी बन्ने होए ने इत्थे बिठा ले.
In this instance, a reporter during a live bulletin was harassed by an angry mob. Male reporters have been target of inexplicable violence. In this instance, our reporter Maushami was surrounded by a flurry of protesters. Overwhelmed with the surging crowds, she pleaded with the farmers, and there was more good than bad that day, as a sizable group made a ring around her, escorting her to their vehicle. Proving the fact that not all protesters are guilty, as some came to her rescue.
कभी-कभी हम इस तरह की सिचुएशन में भी फंसते हैं. जब हम लोग सिंगू बॉर्डर से टीकरी जा रहे थे तो यहाँ पे तमाम किसानों ने हम लोग को घिराव कर लिया. ये संजीव है हमारे कैमरा पर्सन, और यहाँ पे अभी हम लोग बाहर निकलने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. यहाँ पे आप देखिए कुछ इस तरह की तस्वीर है जहाँ पे चारों तरफ ट्रैक्टर हैं. बहुत लोगों ने हम लोग की मदद की है ताकि हम लोग बाहर निकल सकें. और एक तरफ हम लोग का पूरी तरह से घिराव हो गया था. लगातार कुछ मिसकम्युनिकेशन और जिस तरह से प्रचार चल रहा है उसको लेके कई बारी मीडिया को निशाना बनाया जाता है. हालांकि हम लोग डे 1 से कवरेज कर रहे हैं, पर यहाँ पे जिस तरह से हम लोग को पूरा घिराव हो गया था, उसके बाद बड़ी मुश्किल से इन लोगों ने, ये लोग हैं, ये हैं जिन्होंने मदद करके यहाँ से बाहर निकाला है.
One of our female colleagues, whose name we won't disclose, was subject to physical groping. just lodged a police complaint. Violence, anger, and sometimes sexual assault are the unfortunate hallmarks of any massive crowd, and here there are lacks. This is not to discredit the farm agitation, but the farmers would be doing themselves the biggest disservice by letting a sizable chunk of depraves to continue to attack the media. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, so let me just say this again. This is not our attempt in any which way to discredit this agitation. Our endeavor is only one, is to tell the truth. And that's what we will continue to do at any cost. And this has to be reported. Because we've been covering this protest from day one. It's day 45. If it was one incident, if it was two incidents, we would have thought it's an aberration. We've seen a number of incidents, even to our own correspondents. And it is our duty to put it out there. It can happen in any place where there is a large number of crowd that is gathered, and here we are talking about lakhs viewers. It's happened at political rallies. I have myself witnessed harassment at political rallies. It can happen anywhere, whatever the kind of crowd, of whatever ideology. So it is not that it is happening because the farmers are protesting. It's not the farmers. But what will serve the farmers well is the farmers get together and call out these elements and sift them away from this agitation. I want to cut across right now to our correspondents, my colleagues who are joining me. I have Munish Pandey reporting from Delhi. He is with my colleague Moshmi as well. I have Aishwarya Paliwal and I have Satyendra Chauhan and Anisha Mathur. Aishwarya, I want to begin with you. You were forced to apologize, Aishwarya, for just doing your job. Can you elucidate exactly what happened?
Well, Preeti, definitely I would say to begin with, it was a terrifying thing to happen. We were on our way back from Patiala, we were en route to Delhi, and we saw some stubble burning, and that was in fact the story which I had gone to cover. So we got down and we started shooting. It was a little away from the highway, it was not exactly on the highway. We were just shooting, we were speaking to the people there, and suddenly I see in a span of 5 minutes there were 40 people who surrounded us. It was 5 o'clock. They forced us to apologize for just doing my job, and because it was 5 and this happened during winters, it was the one thing which was in my mind was to just leave the spot, because one of them had started telling me that he will hold me along with my camera person hostage. He also told me he will take me inside the village. Now that in fact was very terrifying, and they kept on asking me to apologize. I thought it was fit to apologize. I apologized, and only then did they make way for us. But then too, they had surrounded our car when we sat in the car, and a couple of young boys there were adamant on burning our car down. It was only when the elders present there said, "She has apologized, just let us move on." So this is exactly what had happened. But yes, those were terrifying 30-35 minutes, which only happened because I was doing my job and nothing more.
Aishwarya, stay with me. I want to connect right now to Anisha Mathur, who's joining me as well. Anisha, what happened with you?
Well, Preeti, this incident that happened with me was on the 29th of December, and what is as my colleague Aishwarya was also saying, is the elders and some people tried to intervene, but there was a huge group of men who surrounded me and my cameraman. My cameraman Ajay Thakur was also subject to beating. He was hit, he was kicked multiple times. They tried to take my camera from us, surrounded us, and what was terrifying to me was the fact that they surrounded us and wouldn't let go. This is when we tried to move from there, the crowd followed us. When we tried to get into an auto and leave from there, and this is, by the way, about 6 kilometers inside the protest at the Singhu border, which is a protest that has been going on for several days and is several kilometers long. We tried to get out of there. They surrounded the auto. They wouldn't let the auto move. And it is only when I called the leaders of the protest. In fact, this is something that we'll have to emphasize, that the leaders of the protest said that we'll come and protect you. In fact, they came with me to file a complaint to the police. They've since also called and extended their support to me. But this crowd of about 30 to 40 men that surrounded us, chased us for almost a kilometer, that has been terrifying. So this is something that is also maligning the image of the protest itself, because there are thousands of people sitting there peacefully protesting, but there are people who are trying to attack the media as well. And this is not just happening once, but multiple times.
Anisha, stay with me. I want to put it out there. We've disclosed the name of one of our female reporters. She was sexually harassed as well. and we have already lodged a police complaint on that front. So we have multiple incidents. I want to now cut across to my colleague Moshmi and Munish, who are joining us. Moshmi, will you elucidate what exactly happened with you?
See, Preeti, India Today has been covering the entire story from day one, and we've been reporting the facts and each and every detail of what's happening on the ground, and that's what I was exactly doing when that tractor parade did happen. And in the middle of nowhere, while we were on the expressway, we were doing a live, and that live is available on the social media. There were some elements who were trying to climb up the truck. They climbed the truck and then started sloganeering, and they asked me to get down, and then they followed me for the next 15 minutes. Me and my video journalist Sanjeev Kumar, we were surrounded, and there was constant sloganeering. I kept telling them that we are just doing a job. We've been reporting from day one, and even your leaders don't want this to happen. So remember, there were only few elements who started this all up, and then in the mob mentality, people just followed and joined chorus, and we were surrounded and hounded for good some 10-15 minutes. But then it was some good elements, some farmers from that same crowd who always come out to save you, and they realize that what's happening is not right. It will be a great disservice to the entire agitation, and because of those farmers, those youngsters, we are alive and safe. Had it been one more minute, and we would have been badly attacked, because the crowd was getting very, very aggressive, and they in fact ferried us out, traveled almost more than 15 kilometers in their own car, constantly saying this is an emergency hai, emergency hai. They told us to cover our faces, and then they ferried us out to a safe place. So that thanks to those farmers that we are safe and alive today.
You know, you're completely right. The good outweighed the bad there. So it's the duty of the good today to call out the bad. Move away from that, because if this agitation, you don't want it to be remembered for the bad. I want to now cut across to Satyendra before I go to Munish. Satyendra, आपको एक ईंट मारी थी, आपका सर फट गया था, क्या हुआ आपके साथ?
I would like to tell you, I had good hairs, or I'm just hairless now, and this agitation given me this situation actually.
You look very handsome, Satyendra. Don't worry about that.
कवरेज कर रहे थे, कवरेज के दौरान एक तरफ पुलिस टीयर गैस फेंक रही थी, तो दूसरी तरफ से फार्मर्स जो थे वो पत्थर फेंक रहे थे, और मैं अकेला नहीं, मेरा जो कैमरामैन है उसे 1 घंटा डेली अब हॉस्पिटल में जाना पड़ता है। उसके शोल्डर पे, कंधे पे बहुत चोट लगी है, और उसको डेली फिजियोथेरेपी करानी पड़ती है। मेरा आपने देखा कि मेरे यहाँ पर पूरा जो है 4 स्टिचेज आए थे, और तकरीबन 7 दिन तक मुझे बेड रेस्ट पे रहना पड़ा, और उसके बाद जो है ये सिचुएशन आपके सामने है। तो ये एक फैशन बन गया है इन दिनों में कि मीडिया जब भी कवर करती है, पुलिस वाले सोचते हैं कि वो हमारा एंगल नहीं दिखा रही, जो दूसरी पार्टी है, चाहे किसान हो या कोई हो, वो लगता है कि वो हमारी बात नहीं, एक न्यूट्रल निष्पक्ष होती है। हमारा काम जो सिर्फ सच्चाई है उसको दिखाना है। हम किसी के फेवर में, किसी के पक्ष में, किसी के अगेंस्ट, किसी के खिलाफ नहीं होते हैं, और ये बात शायद समझ में नहीं आ रही है। मीडिया को कोसना दोनों तरफ से, चाहे वो पुलिस हो या फिर जो एजिटेशन कर रही है पार्टी, एक फैशन बन गया है, और शायद इसका भुगतान हमें इस तरीके से करना पड़ता है कि देखिए, मैं आपके सामने खड़ा हुआ हूँ, मेरा, और ये एक सिचुएशन थी कि मैं बच गया। अगर ये चोट और भी गहरी होती, क्योंकि जो है ब्रेन इंजरी है, बिल्कुल सर पे लगा है, हेड पे, यहाँ ब्रेन होता है, अगर थोड़ी सी और गहरी ये इंजरी होती तो शायद मैं इसका जवाब किससे मांगता, शायद ये मेरे अभी भी समझ से बाहर है। प्रीति।
Satyendra, we are very happy that you are better right now, and the hair will grow back. Until then, I think all of our colleagues who are on this show will admit you look definitely very, very handsome with this look, and the hair will come back very soon. But you made that point very correctly. One thing we can vouch for, leave alone the entire media, we can vouch for our channel. We've been doing it from day one. We've been covering this protest. We have reported the truth at the time of the cost of our own well-being coming in the way. And you can see 6 examples there, and there are many, many more. I want to cut across to Munish. Munish, what happened yesterday with you?
Yeah, well, Preeti, remember the farmers were going to meet the government yesterday, and I was doing the interview with the leaders so that their voices can reach the audience, the millions of people. And that is what I was doing. But once the farmers left, I was doing a live for India Today, and the moment the farmers left, there was a crowd of almost 150 to 200 people, and they surrounded me. It was very difficult for me to complete that live because they started hounding, they started abusing me. Somehow I completed my live, and then I saw that more than 200 people have surrounded me and my camera person. My first priority was to secure the camera equipments. Then I asked my camera person to just leave with the boom, but I was there to make sure that the camera person is safe. But at the very same point of time, more than 200 people were hounding me, they were abusing me, they were sloganeering. Then I started asking, I also indulge in some sort of you can say argument, but I was asking a genuine question that why are you surrounding me? Why are you hounding me? What is there to argument? Then they said that there are certain things, media is doing this, media is doing that. I asked them one simple question, that tell me one incident. I am coming here from last 1 month, since the day agitation is going on. I am at Singhu border. Give me one incident where I have misreported. There was no answer to them. But you know, Preeti, in this situation, what happens is it's a mob. I won't call them protesters because I'm covering this protest. The genuine farmers are protesting. There is no doubt, but there are some anti-social element. And in mob, what happens? If one person starts beating you, thrashing you, then the other persons will come and join them, and they will start beating you. They won't even know that why this person is being beaten up or why this person is being thrashed. But somehow there was some person,
you know, you're very right there,
who came to my rescue.
Right, Munish, you're very right there, because we are not, this is not an attempt or an exercise to discredit this agitation. It's an attempt to show them the mirror, see what's going on within the agitation. I want to just take a very quick word in from all our three women reporters. Usually there is no difference which what happens between a male or a female reporter, but most female reporters, of their own volition, because they should, because this is the profession that they've chosen, go out, but sometimes actually looking over their shoulder as well, a lot more than a male reporter. I want to ask them very quickly in a line each. Anisha, at some point, did you feel that your privacy, your space was being invaded? Did you feel scared for yourself?
Well, yes, and that is exactly why I called out to the farmer leadership. I also called out to the police, because when you're in a situation where you've been reporting for several days, but suddenly a mob surrounds you, you are scared not only for your life, but also as a woman. And that is something that people have to take very clear note of, even in the protests.
Well, you're right there. Moshmi, at some point of time, did you feel your physical space was being invaded?
You know, Preeti, I always feel that, you know, when we are going down there, we are not men or women journalists, but unfortunately, the reality of the ground is that women journalists are easy targets. And then when it comes to attacking journalists, as far as women journalists are concerned, they are more victimized and objectified because they are women. So it doesn't stop at beating. It comes to molestation and sexual assault as well. So that's a very precarious situation. And that's why I would plead to all those who are protesting that you should remember that we are also doing our bit just like you are.
All right, Aishwarya, did you feel scared for yourself at any time? And then I'm going to wrap the show.
Preeti, I'm an army officer's daughter. I don't get scared that easily, but let me tell you, those 30 minutes were definitely terrifying, because the person in the mob kept on saying he will hold me hostage. He kept on telling me he's calling others from his group. They will come, they will pick me and my camera person, and they will take us inside the village. Even after I sat in the car, I was shivering for almost 1 hour. So definitely, it is a terrifying incident. And let me tell you, these incidents do leave a scar. They don't leave you. They do leave a scar, and those are very deep scars.
Appreciate you all for joining us. This was our duty. It was a duty to put these accounts all out there for our viewers to see, because a lot of us today are standing in solidarity. If you are standing in solidarity, then have the spine to call this out. This is not an attempt to discredit the farmers' movement. It is an attempt to show them the mirror. This is the bad lot you have within you. Get rid of them now. Thank you all for joining us.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.